Hello, Year 9. I think this was the question that was asked. We had x to the power of x to the power of x equals to 1 half to the power of root 2. And we want to work out what this value of x is here. And I've got three of them all the same, and I'm raising it to the power all the way through. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to manipulate this right-hand side until it's also written as three identical things, each raised to the power of the same thing. So my first step is I want to get a few more 2's into the mix just so I've got a little bit more to work with. And you can see this is like 2 to the minus 1, this is 2 to the half. So what I'm actually going to do here, and there's possibly a lot of different ways to do it, but I'm just going to multiply this power by 2 over 2, and now I'm going to rewrite it just very slightly, but I'm not actually going to change it. So this is like having 1 half to the power of 2 all over the top of root 2 on 2. And you can verify for yourself that's the same thing, because I've got 2 root 2 on 2 here, 2 root 2 on here, and you can also see this 2 here and this 2 here. When I multiply these two indices together, they just cancel out, this 2 and this 2, and it'd still just be 1 half to the root 2. But now what I'm going to do is I've got a half to the power of 2, so I'm going to change that to 1 quarter. So now I've got 1 quarter to the power of root 2 on 2. And I'm just going to write root 2 on 2 a slightly different way, and I'll just do the little conversion up here. So we know that if I have 1 on root 2 and I rationalize the denominator by timesing it by root 2 on 2, I wind up with root 2 on 2. So I know basically that 1 on root 2 and root 2 on 2 are the same thing. So I'm just going to rewrite this slightly now. So this I can rewrite as 1 quarter to the power of 1 on root 2. And you can see I've changed my a half to the power of root 2 to 1 quarter to the power of 1 on root 2. And maybe there was a faster way to do that, but this way's gotten us here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 1 half, my 1 on root 2, sorry, I'm going to get my 1 on root 2, and I can't actually change it, but I'm going to raise it to the power of 4 over 4. And now you can also see I've got three things here, 1, 2, 3, and it's a power to a power to a power. So now let's just manipulate this just a little bit. So this is going to be like having 1 quarter to the power of, and here I'm going to have 1 over root 2 to the power of 4. So we'll put that next. We've got 1 over root 2 to the power of 4. And this whole thing here, I'll just use the same color, is to the power of 1 quarter. So you can see now I've got 1 quarter to the power of 1 over root 2 to the power of 4 to the power of a quarter. So let's now just neaten up this next little bit, and we can say that's equal to 1 quarter to the power of, and let's look at what this is. I've got 1 over root 2 to the power of 4, and I might just work it out separately down here. So we've got 1 over root 2 to the power of 4. Well, that's just 1 to the power of 4 over root 2 to the power of 4, and that's also 1/4 because root 2 to the power of 4 is 1/4. And now we can write it like this. It's 1/4 to the power of 1/4 to the power of 1/4. And we can actually see here, now we're done, because we had x to the power of x to the power of x equals to 1/4 to the power of 1/4 to the power of 1/4. And we can conclude, therefore, x equals to 1/4. Okay, guys, thanks very much. That's it.